Most developers I know are opinionated about code layout. We know exactly how we want our text to appear in the editor, we want to control the amount of indent per line, and how curly braces are formatted. Visual Studio supports the editor config file. This lets developers enforce consistent coding styles for everyone that work in the codebase. So let's add one to our project. I'll right-click and choose Add Editor Config. To be clear, Visual Studio has supported this file type for a while. What I want to look at in this video is an extension that makes editing editor config files easier. It's this one, the Editor Config Language Services. So what I get when I add that is the ability to do what I just showed you, how to add a edit config using the right-click menu. I also get the typical things you're used to seeing in any editor in Visual Studio. I get the light bulb icon, I get color coding, I get autocomplete lists, and so on. So let's start editing this file. I'd like to put a section in for my C# code. So I type in the square brace, and I get an example of syntax type. So I can do star.cs, or I can do star.vb, or I can do wildcards where I can have both CS and VB. So I think I'll go with the first example, star.cs. So I'll type that in here like that. Then I'll move down to the next line and I'll start using the autocomplete. I would like to add an indent style. So I type in IN and I get a autocompletion list that shows indent style equal. And then here I get to see what my choices are. I can do a tab, or I can do a space, or I can do unset. So I'll choose space, press the tab, go down to the next line and add an indent size, add a couple extra lines here. Then I will add an end of line. I'll set that to CRLF. Try that again, CRLF. And then I'll look at maybe some specific ones for .NET, like sort system directives. I'll set that to true. There's also support for code snippets. I'll right-click here, choose snippet, insert snippet, choose basic document, and that writes out this much text. I can also do bigger snippets. For instance, there's one for C# code style settings. And you can see that added a lot of text. Essentially, every possible setting for C# is added to my file. I'll Control-Z to undo. And then let's look at the last one, snippet, insert snippet, .NET code style settings. I can also get validation. Let's go up here. This is supposed to be a numeric value. So if I try typing in something like hello and move off that line, you'll see I get a green squiggle telling me that that's not legitimate. I also can get light bulbs. There's a light bulb here in the C# section. And when I hover over that and expand it, I can see several things I can do. I can remove the entire section. I can add the missing rules, let's say for all the C# rules. Or the one I want to look at today is sorting the properties in this section. You'll notice that end of line is in the middle of the settings. And when I choose sort properties in section, it will alphabetize these. Although I'm not sure why it puts .NET at the end. And I can also have it do the entire document. For the last demo, we'll look at what's called code formatting. So here I will use the standard keystrokes for formatting a document, which is Control-K, Control-D, and it looks in the settings for whatever configuration I have there. And in this case, it moved all of the values over, it tabbed them over to the end of the line. So it looks neat and tidy. So there you have the editor config. Now, the key thing about editor config is that I can save this with the project. When another developer opens this project and they format their document, it's going to use the settings that are listed in here.